Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Just filling up this next one with water. I've got one more bucket of water to put through, so the mats are at 41% so far. Doing quite well, and sort of found out a couple of little techniques for digging and stuff that just makes it a little bit easier and quicker. So there's 3 buckets of water gone in there, and it's up to 43% on the mat. So I'll do 2 more lots on the mats, and then I think we'll start rinsing them out. So you can just sort of stand close by and start digging, but you've got to make sure you dig in the right place, or you're not able to dig all the time. But there are places that you can dig that sort of it doesn't quite cover everything, and like that one there, I've not quite filled the shovel up, so I can tip the shovel out and I can move stuff around, which is another fantastic point of this. So you don't have to fill the shovel up and then run back to this one every time. What you could do is you could go over there, see that pile that I've dug there? I can pick it up and I can move it over to there. I can pick it up and I can move it, and I can just keep doing that if that's what I want to do. So I can move the earth around in this pit. It does eventually use up, so we could like dig up all of the dirt that's over here that we can dig by hand, and then in order to be able to do any more, we would have to go over to the big area, which is just beyond that hill over there. Now we will eventually be moving over to that big hill anyway, because that's the next step, is once you start building up the big wash rig and all the other little bits and pieces that go with it, we'd want to be working over there. That's where we'd want to be doing all of our stuff, because there's a lot more of it. So you'll be getting a lot more gold out of the ground. But at the moment, we're still on small scale. Now, I did say that I was going to try to put this to 50%. I said that yesterday. So we're close to it. I might actually stop just a little bit before a full 50%, and we'll carry on from there. While I've been doing this, I've been actually thinking that, you know, this is kind of approaching what I would consider to be the ultimate perfect game, the absolute perfect ideal game. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there are 2 types of perfect game. One of them is a fantasy type game where you have swords and magic and stuff like that. And I absolutely love fantasy games. I really do. I'm absolutely a complete and utter sucker for all types of fantasy games. I just love them. They're so much fun. The whole swords, magic, dragons and all of that is just something that I've always loved. My whole life I've really been into it. But the other type of super perfect game would be a simulator game, kind of like this. But I want more. Now, I like the terrain that we can dig here, but I would want the whole map to be covered in this. I don't just want little patches that we can dig. I want the whole place to be filled with deformable terrain. So you've got mud patches and stuff like that. So sort of some components from spin tires, and then I would also want some components from farming simulators so that I could cut down these trees and remove them, and get a chainsaw. Everything being completely so you've got a full interactive environment. You've got all kinds of stores and shops, so you could do gold mining, and have a huge map, 300 times the size of this one, so you could just go anywhere in it. You could build farm, you could do farming, you could buy farmland, you could do things like that, so you could make a load of money being a farmer. You could be a hunter, you could go and hunt wild game in hills and stuff, and there are ways that you could be killed. If you get attacked by a bear or something, you could be killed whilst hunting. And be a gold miner, work another type of... I've got 51% now. That's actually gone up faster than I thought it would. So, yeah, there's all of those sort of different types of things that could be done. And I would like it all to be combined all into one game. Just one massive, glorious game that would just be wonderful to play. I think it'd be like the ultimate game. Everything you could ever want from every game you've ever played, pretty much, all rolled into one. The ultimate sim game. And that would just be so amazing. And the way that games have advanced in the last 10 years, you look at the difference between games now and how they were 10 years ago, I honestly believe that in the next 10 to 15 years, we will see a game like I have just described. I honestly believe that we're not far away from that ultimate game, the ultimate fantasy, well, not fantasy, the ultimate simulator game where you've got everything that you could possibly imagine all at once. And I really do believe that we are close to that, and we will actually be able to play something like that within the next decade. Maybe decade and a half, 10 to 15 years, I reckon. The way that games are advancing, it's just going to be awesome. So I'd like you, just in the comment section, is just let us know, what sort of games would you like to see? What kind of things would you like to see in the ultimate game? And as this is a sim game, so let's go with ultimate sim games at the moment. I mean, we can always talk about fantasy games as well if you really want to, but I'm sort of saying, what is your ultimate sim game at the moment? What sort of things would you like to see in a really good sim game? Now, we've got 4 pieces of gold on there. I just don't want to tip any into the water. That would be heartbreaking if we were to tip any away right now. So let's shake it around a little bit. Is trying to get the gold while so we need to go into the gold pick mode like that, and we get that one. So that was a 0.03 of an ounce, that one was. And we got, that one wasn't actually anything. Another piece there. It's 0.06. We're getting, there's a lot of gold now. Oh, there's still another piece on that pan. There's still another piece on there. Let's just leave it there, and we can get that one. Pick. There we go. So 0.06. Those 2 pieces were too small to do anything else with. But we got 0.06 just from that one pan. So we've got, I think we have 3 more, don't we? So let's go and put that one down there. So what would you like to see? What would be in your ultimate game? How would it be? Would it be sort of like I described, like 100 times bigger than this map? I mean, you look at that map there. That's quite a fair size. You do have a bit of driving to do to get around this one. If you had it like this, could you interact with the entire map? Like, literally, you go fishing in the river. You could even go so far as building a dam. I mean, for me personally, it wouldn't be multiplayer. I mean, there are a lot of people that do really love the whole multiplayer experience. For me personally, I feel that it could be better if it wasn't a multiplayer experience. I mean, maybe, yes, you could sort of do things together, and you could have like an economy set up where you're selling things to other players, and that could actually work out really, really well, and it could end up being a lot of fun. But, I mean, what about a single player, so that you're kind of working on these things yourselves, but you're interacting with NPCs all the way through? I mean, there's arguments for both styles of gameplay. There's definitely arguments for both styles of gameplay. Some people really love the whole multiplayer approach, and some people really do love single player approach. And personally, I generally go for single player rather than multiplayer, just because that's how I am. But I mean, like games like World of Warcraft, I absolutely love playing World of Warcraft, and that is like the ultimate multiplayer game. Now we've got 3 more pieces here at least. We're at 0.15 ounces so far. Let's grab that piece, and there's another piece there that we can get as well. There we go. 0.16 ounces so far. Is there any more gold on there? I don't think there is. I think that's all of it. So we've got 2 more lots to do. No more gold on there. Now, I'll do that in a minute, and then we can head... Actually, we're going to have to spend the night. And then we can head to the store in the morning and sort of see what money we can get and what options are available to us with all of this gold that we are now getting. Right, the panning is done. We are going to go and sleep the night. We have 0.36 ounces of gold, which is quite a huge quantity compared to what we did have. So let's just go here and sleep until dawn. Right. Now we're going to head back into town, and we're going to see what we can get for this. I'm really quite excited about this. I am absolutely certain that we are going to get a fortune, although I don't actually know what kind of fortune that we're going to get. So let's just try driving this one with the camera in the locked position. There is a locked position for the camera where it locks it behind the pickup rather than going along in front of it, like we have been doing. So I don't want to go too fast. It's very easy to lose control of this pickup. So, yeah, going back to this the ultimate simulator game. There's all kinds of ultimate games. You like ultimate shooter games and all kinds of other things. So I'd imagine... I mean, I don't know anything about shooter games. I don't play shooter games because I'm not very good at them. And so I'm aware of them, but I don't really know very much about them. That's like a different ball game altogether. But I mean... what would you like to see? Would you like to see this factory populated with NPCs and operative? So you could go and use any of those vehicles. A police force standing by, so that if you steal one of the vehicles, you sort of have to go for it. But I mean, how close to real life would you want this game? Because if you really go ultimate real life, it sort of becomes a bit more of a drag than if it's not ultimate real life. If it's absolutely... if you got kind of a farming simulator approach to cutting down the trees so that you can just do it a little bit faster, chop down a tree and insta shred it into wood chips with various different mods and things like that, you can kind of cut corners on it. I mean, for me, I wouldn't want it ultimate realism, but I would want a certain degree of realism. So sort of bits of both, really. You'd want to sort of mix and match a little bit as you were going through it. Definitely you'd want to have trains coming through and various things like that. I like the idea of going to the Alaskan wilderness and buying a claim of land, mining for gold there, and then retiring and making a small farm there and turning it having some crops. I don't think that you grow very many crops in Alaska. I don't really know what grows up in Alaska and doesn't. I know that it's cold. I know that it definitely gets cold. So we've got 0.1, 0.4, cost $3.63, time 3 minutes, and we lose 0.3 ounces. And it will actually let us melt the gold. So, there it is. There's our gold. Oh, so what? You've actually got to carry it round. You've got to physically carry the gold. I thought that you just kind of had the gold. So I guess, what do we do with it? There is a way to take it to the bank. I'm sure that we can take this to the bank. I thought that you just kind of, you had the gold and then you did something else with it. So let's put it in the pickup. Please tell me that we are able to do something with it. Now that we've turned it all into gold. I'm going to be absolutely distraught and devastated if by turning it into gold we can't do anything with it. That can't be that can't be it. That can't be right. There must be something we can do with this. I didn't actually try. I don't know if you could smelt gold or not in the pre-alpha version. I certainly didn't do anything to get that far. But we've got our 0.36 of an ounce. Well, actually, it's a bit less than 0.36, isn't it? Because we've you lose a little bit on smelting. So let's just stop there. And we will go and get this. You go to the bank, and what does it say? Loans, stock, sell gold bars. Your bars, 0.36. Okay, and how much do we get? It doesn't say. Stock at the moment, it's gone up. 1,213 per ounce. And we've got 0.36 of an ounce. So sell the gold. I want to sell. Sell. Why can't I sell? What have I got to do to be able to sell? Do I have to take it to the bank? Do I have to do something else with it? Oh, I have sold it. 531 monies. Look. Monies. We got lots and lots of monies. Okay, so we have sold the gold. That's okay. So we can sell the gold or we can sell the ore. We can sell one or the other. I'm guessing that it's more profitable to actually sell the gold than it is to get it smelted and then do it. That would be my guess. I can't imagine for the life of me that it would be more profitable just to sell the ore. Although I suppose we could sort of look at it so it's like 0.3. We've got $500 now. We're cooking on gas now, ladies and gentlemen. So we can definitely get the extension. We can get the sluice, the hog sluice extension. And stop there. Turn the engine off. I don't want to waste gas. And let's take a mosey on in here. So we have got jerry cans up there, but we don't want to buy. So work lights, no. We can get more hog pan mats. And what are we looking at here? So you've got a small water pump. That's $200. The mobile generator is $350. That's $550 for those two. Then the magnetite separator, that's $1,000. And that's the one that I think it gives you the, you know the bucket of stuff that we get when we rinse out the mats. I think you can pour that into the magnetite thing. The wave table, good lord, $6,000. I don't even know what a wave table does. It did say in the thingy. a thin hose pipe is $20. A fat says $20. The hydraulic hose. So and then the power ropes, extensions. So you're looking at $100 worth of stuff like that. I can't hook rope. What would that be useful for? I don't actually know what we would use that for. So in order to get the Hog Pan Pump and then the other bits, we're looking at around about $1,000. So actually, that's not going to be too bad. We go to here and we get an extension. Add. And then we go over to here and we get 2 more mats. 1, 2. Add. Right, so we've got those bits. Now, what's this? A magnetite trailer. You put the... What does a magnetite trailer do? Is that the same thing as that magnetite separator over there, or is this something different? You know, I've got no idea. We'll have to have a look at that later on. This is the miner's moss, and that, I think, is the mats that you use in the big wash plant thing. Mobile wash plant. That one doesn't take mats. That one just washes stuff out. You pour earth into the top, and then you get a water pump going, and then you put a bucket underneath, and that gets you your magnetite, and then you pour that magnetite into that one, and that separates it out and gives you gold. Nice and simple. So to start with, you can, rather than having to use that one over there and load it up with an excavator, you get those 2, and the one with the pump over there, and some of these. Join it all together, and then you still got to manually shovel the stuff into the top, but it's going to be a lot faster. You don't have to keep stopping to load it up with water. Is there anything else that you can do for shoveling to make it just to pick up the move it along a little bit faster? You've got jerry cans. I don't think there is. I don't think you can sort of speed it up beyond that. Did I get the mats? Let's find out. Yes, I got the mats, so let's buy those. We get these, and we can stick the extension on over at the claim. And we can also get those 2 there. Let's chuck that in. And we chuck that one in as well. So we've got these 4 mats, and then we can go and get that one. Now, the next task is, I'm thinking, all 4 mats, 100%. That's going to be our next task. Let's get that one. If I jump up here and I turn, I should be able to drop it. There we go. Just drop it down like that. Close that up. It's not working perfectly. If I do that and then drop it down. Right. Hopefully that's not going to slide out the back. We hope. Start you up. Brakes off. And we're away. Okay, it might slide out the back. I'm gonna have to drive a little bit carefully. Oh, I don't think it will, actually. I think it's going to be okay. So it was 0.36 got us $500, which means that, in theory, 0.7... No, it was 0.32, wasn't it? Wasn't the overall weight 0.32? I mean, we still got $300 now. There's a machinery yard here. Now, $300 isn't going to be enough to get us very much. But we can just take a look in here and see what kind of machines might be available. I don't know how you get in here, to be honest. Where's the entrance? Oh, it's back over here. We could have just driven straight in, to be fair. Oh well. So there's a few things undercover here, available soon. So you got a massive grape, $74,000 for that one. And what's this? Sluice box. In and out. So rocks sluice. There's various different bits of it there. This is parts of the duplex jig. 22,000. And this is a shaker, so that like cleans out a load of the rocks. A trommel. None of this stuff, I don't actually know what any of this stuff is. I'm sure it's all very useful. I'm sure it's all very cool stuff. Big power generator, 70,000. Front end loader, 97,000. Bulldozer, 54,000. Small excavator, $28,000. So none of this stuff is particularly cheap. And that's kind of the issue. I'm not really sure how you move from small... I think, really, you spend a lot of time with a shovel until you got your 28,000, and then you can move on to that one. I don't think there's kind of a halfway in between. And that's actually that is a bit of a shame, I suppose. I mean, I was kind of hoping for something much, much smaller to, like, automate getting the earth in the hog pan sluice thingamajiggies that we're using at the moment. And it doesn't look like there's actually going to be an option. But never mind, that's okay. We have got a way to get some cash. And as soon as we've got the next lot, so obviously the next thing that we need to get is the hog pan with the pump, so that we can connect a pump to it. And then we need to get a pump itself. So the hog pan thing is 200. And then the pump is, was it 150, 250? Yeah, I think it was 250. And then the other one was 350, so the generator. So that was 600, that's 800. And then we want some hoses and stuff. So we want a straight $1,000. If we've got $1,000, we can connect all of that stuff up and join it all together. So then we're going to want a further $1,000 on top of that in order to get a magnetite separator. And I think that the magnetite separator is actually the one that we want. I mean, there's this thing back here that says magnetite. Whether you could bring magnetite back to this factory and tip it out there and they give you stuff, that they give you money so that they'll like take a percentage cut or something like that. I don't know if we could just bring a small bucket of the stuff back over and do that. I see that the stuff in the sluice thing is bouncing around a bit in the back of the pickup. So we do have that nod towards realism there. So yeah, if we got a bucket of magnetite, instead of panning for it ourselves, if we were to take it over to that factory, would they do the job for us? Let's just put the brake on and then we can climb out. Let's get this set up. There we go. And right. That one is stuck. Come on. You can come. You can get out. Pick up. There we go. Right, we've got that one. So let's run this one down here. And we should just be able to place it. There we go. Just add that one in. And then we want to get the 2 mats as well. I don't know if there's a way to throw things. Or if I pick that one up like that. And I right click. Right, clicking doesn't do anything. You just pick them up and you drop them. It doesn't appear to be any way to actually throw something. It's a bit of a shame. It would be nice if we could just lob it down, but we can't. So let's put that one up there, and then we get the last one here. Run this one down and drop it in there. Nope, I didn't mean to do that. There we go, like that. So we've got 4 of them lined up. We've got the extensions. So next we want to just get our shovel going and back to work. Now this is kind of the main part of this game. It appears to be just digging in the dirt, just digging and digging and digging. But then I suppose this is the life of the miner. This is the life of the gold miner. This is what they would have done, or this is what I don't know if it still happens. Do people still mine like this? Can you still go to Alaska, get a claim, and just start like mining like this? Is this even done anymore, or is this like harking back to the old days back when there was gold all over the place, back in like the days of gold rushes and stuff like that? I absolutely genuinely have no idea. I don't know anything about this subject whatsoever. Let's just put that in there, and now I want to see what happens. So last time we did this, we went to about 2% on 2 of the mats. So do we end up like saving more gold? Is by doing this with the extra mats, are we going to get more gold out of this? Or is it just a... how's this going to work? So there's one lot there. Oh, they're all... No, so we do actually get more gold out of it. You get more gold per shovelful. So in theory, what it means is, when we were doing this previously, we were wasting a load of gold. It was getting washed away down the hill into the stream. So some of those washings down through there will actually have gold in them. That's what that means. We've wasted all that money we've wasted. We could have had double what we've just had. That's all up to... All 4 of them are now up to 3%. How many times can you wash out in a bucket? I mean, if you have your mats, if you get all 4 mats and you wash them in the bucket, is there a limit to the number of times that you can wash in the bucket before it sort of it fills up completely, or will it just let you keep doing it sort of almost indefinitely? I mean, not quite indefinitely, but like a lot more than we currently did. Now, if we see, the next thing is, it would be great if you could just, if the water was just going automatically, because you just keep doing this until you see that the mats are at 100%. But by that time, we could be further away from the actual wash thingy, and so we're not going to be close enough to be filling this up properly. I mean, I put it there. If I'm over here somewhere and I dig, I can't reach it. I'm having to run back each time to load it up. So we're going to have to start double handling some of this earth. And it doesn't look like you can do... I mean, just an upgrade for a bigger shovel. I think that would be pretty cool. Is there any upgrade for a bigger shovel? That's something I definitely don't know. We bring this one over here, and we get our bucket, and we go in again. So I think that in our next episode, we will at least be... I'm sure if we can get all 4 mats up to 100%, we will try and rinse them all off into the same bucket. But before we do that, though, we've got 4 mats here at 5%, so that's giving us 20%. I want to try something out. I want to see what happens if we have a bucket of water, and we drop the water down there like that, and then we take these 4 mats, which are now all at 6%, so there's 24% in total. And if I can get close enough to use, there we go. Rinse that out into that water. Drop that down. Nope. I wanted to use you. There we go. Use. And then get that one. Do the same on there. And we'll take this bucket over to that thing that said magnetite. And we'll just see if that does anything. I don't know what that does. Oops. I definitely didn't want to do that. Pick that one up. There we go. Put that one in there. Right, that's changed colour now quite considerably. And what about this one here? Is that going to make it change colour more? I'm guessing that there's only so much that you could put in the bucket, but I mean, all of those are now empty. So this bucket has got the valuable goods in it. So let's bring this one over here, and we'll jump into the back. Oop, careful, careful. Drop that one down there. We don't want this to waste. Put it into the pickup, and now we're going to head over to the factory, and we're going to see what happens if we go over there. Well, don't tip out. I don't think it actually matters if it tips. It's a good job that it doesn't. I don't think it actually does anything. I don't think that just by the bucket tipping upside down, it makes any difference whatsoever. But it's going to be interesting to see if we could take a bucket full over to this factory and just pour it into that grid. Is that going to give us anything? Or is this going to be a complete waste of time and sort of a loss of our dirt and everything else? I don't know. It might be that you've got to bring it over here in larger quantities. I know that I do remember reading something about the factory. I remember reading something somewhere about this factory and it actually having a use. So I really want to see if this is anything to do with it. And so you got the grid there. Let's open you up, pick you up, and bring you down over this way. And now what? We're standing over you, and let's just see at the controls. So we got previous tool, next tool, action. Tool, main, alternate, backpack, in-game, hide controls. Doesn't look like it's actually going to do anything at all. So this might have just been a waste of time. Okay, I'm trying to pick this up, and it doesn't seem... Oh, there we go. I've picked it up again now. So I'm not quite sure what that's about. I'm just going to take a quick look at the menu and everything and see if there is anything in there that tells us what this is for, so I can at least solve this little mystery. And then, well, it might actually be I pan that bit. You know, I'm just going to keep that bucket off to the side, and then we'll wash the mats in there again in a little while. There's no indication as to what that thing is at the factory where it says magnetite. So I don't actually know what that's for. And really the next sort of big step that we want is to set up the water pump onto the water pump extension thing. And then after that we can go... I think that we can basically replace the panning system with the Magnetite Separator. So we can sort of do that first, and then when we've got some more money, we'd then be able to just turn that one on, and to put the handbrake on and turn the machine off. Once we've got some more money, we can then buy the mobile plant and everything else, and then we start digging over there. We start going in for it big time. So the whole panning process can take a bit of time. I mean, it is good fun to do the panning process, but it can take a bit of time. So we'll put those there, and we'll bring this bucket over here, and I'm just going to hope that we can add more into that bucket later on. That's kind of my hope on this one at the moment. So what we're going to have to do now is we're just going to dig, and we're going to fill this thing up, and then once we've got all 4 mats at 100%, We're then going to have a panning session and clean everything out. But that's going to be in our next episode. We're just going to do a little bit more of this digging and panning for now, and then sort of see where it takes us. And there's a bit there. So there are sort of bits of dirt kicking around in places here that I can just finish up the last of it, tidy it up a little bit in places. But you can't really see where the dirt is and where the dirt isn't. You get a rough idea of where it's not. Like if I dig there, oh, it's actually picked some up. I think this is just going to be a waste. If I try to put that in, it's going to say that you're wasting it. Yeah, there we go. Right. So now I can go and get some more water. If I can get out of the pit. There we go. It's a shame that you can't pick up more bucketfuls of water or do it a little bit faster. But I mean, I kind of like the fact that it does take a while. This game is definitely not going to be an instant game. You're going to have to work at everything. So it takes you a while to get all of the big stuff and so on as you sort of progress. The one thing... Oh, and then you can open up and buy more claims later on. And so it goes faster. Oh, we've actually finished that one already. You buy more claims later on, and then you get employees, and you get your employees working the claims for you as well. So you can keep expanding. You can build a bit of an empire so that you get all of the claims running, and they've all got employees working at them and stuff like that. So you become like a really big landowner. But after that, I really don't know. I'm kind of hoping that later on in the game there will be some add-ons or DLC or whatever it might be. That means that we sort of get some extras, some decent big gold sinks, and I mean like something really big that will change the face of it. So you got something like an ultimate prize to save up for, because I mean, at the moment it's a natural progression that the way that you save up for stuff and you work your way through it, and then once you reach the top point, that's it. You're kind of done. You can just keep adding more money to your total, but you don't really have anything to work towards. And I always like to have something to buy. I always like to have something to work towards. So like my ultimate game that I was talking about, I would, you'd do your mining and you'd work towards your mining, but then after you've done that, you'd then, maybe we'll go and buy a mansion somewhere and have a house with a pool, or just something simple like that. And it could be anything. There could be all kinds of things that you could work towards. And I really, really do want to hear about you guys and your ultimate game. What would you have in your ultimate sim? We'll stick with sim games. I want to hear about sim games today. What would your ultimate sim game contain? Where would it be based, first of all? What continent would it be based? How big an area would you want it to be? Would you want it to be the whole world? Would you literally want a sim game that encompasses the entire planet? Personally, I'm not sure that I want a whole planet. I mean, maybe like an option of your sim game sets in 200 square miles in Alaska, 200 square miles in the middle of the States, or something like that. So in South America, like northern South America, so a tropical area, and then in the south where it's a more temperate climate, and so on and so forth. So it sort of moves around. You've got all different kinds of options from all around the world, and you could build maybe like an ultimate item that you could buy on each area that costs an absolute fortune. You could take money from one area to another, but you'd have to pay exchange rates. So it's actually better to earn the money in one area than it is to move money. But obviously, if you've got a load of money, it's easier to start up in a new area. There's so many different things that you could like put into an ultimate sim game. It's almost unlimited. You're limited by your imagination, aren't you? There is no other part of a sim game that there's no other limitation other than the technology to actually realize it. And I reckon that we will see things like this in the next 10 years, like I've said a few times now. Maybe 20 years, but it'll be within my lifetime, unless something goes horribly wrong. I should be able to play my ultimate sim game, and that's just going to be fantastic. It really is. It's just going to be fantastic. And by that time, it'll be VR. It won't just be looking through a screen. It'll be full VR with not just an Oculus type thing, so it's sight and sound, but there would also be smell as well. So it'd be everything. It'd be full, proper VR. and you would have the whole works with feedback, sensation, like they're working on gaming suits, whereas you get shot, it gives you like a small shock wherever it is that you get hit. They're already working on suits like that, and so you would have like a feedback suit, so that if a tree landed on you, you'd actually feel it. You'd actually feel the tree land on you. It's the technology is already there. The technology is already being developed, and it's only a matter of time before it becomes real mainstream, and we get to use it a lot. It's going to be fantastic. But anyway, I've run out of time for today. I'm going to carry on doing this some more until I've got 100% on all 4 mats, and then we're going to rinse these mats out into that bucket that we've already rinsed the mats out into earlier, and hopefully we'll be able to rinse them all into that bucket without any problem at all. And then we'll be able to pan those buckets as well, and or pan everything that's in the bucket, get all of that gold. And that, I'm hoping, and yes, we do want to smelt it. We definitely want the blacksmith to smelt the ore, because you get so much more money for it if you sell it as ore rather than selling it as sell it as gold, rather, gold bar at the bank rather than ore to the blacksmith. You do not want to sell it as ore to blacksmith if you can help it. That's one thing it does say in the journal, so we will make sure that that's something that we do. Just put that one down there and get some more water, start rinsing again, and yeah, so we can automate this bit, and then we also want the Magnetite Separator. So I reckon that we're looking at, well, at least $2,000. We want $2,000, and I'm hoping that we will get said $2,000 from all of these mats. All 4 mats at 100%, plus the little bit extra that we already had, I'm hoping is going to be enough. That will take us up to above $2,000, and then we can really start going. And obviously, we're still going to be doing the shovel work at that point. We're going to have to manually shovel stuff in, but everything else will be automated. So it will be a lot faster, and then we can really work our way towards getting a excavator. But the problem is, it's not just an excavator. You need the excavator, you need the mobile wash plant, and you need a few other bits and pieces as well. So it does take a little bit of time to set it up, but once we do have it set up, then we are really going to be flying through, and we're going to be making an absolute fortune doing it as well. And I might actually have to spend a bit of time double handling some of this soon, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll cope with it. Anyway, if you enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give me a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.